netjes te zijn.
Moet gewoon wel lukken.
Ja. Oh. Wacht even. Nou, gewoon tegelijk trouwen. Trappen. Naar terug. Nee, stop. Krijg jou ietsjes. Kijk. Nog iets naar verder zeggen?
Nog een dikke 10 centimeter.
Tweede kant, hè?
Ja, ja.
We gaan naar je spot zakken. Never done this shit before.
There's a first time for everything.
Yeah.
Hopefully also a last time. A lot of fun trying to get the bottom bolts of this one secured. A lot of fun. So we are going to demonstrate that we can already move the Churchill by hand power.
That was the compressor, not me. Is dat goed? Ja, nog een beetje Pieter. Ja, dat bent zwaar hoor.
A few hours later. I think the handbrake is still on.
Ja.
Maybe it's still in gear.
Jesus fucking Christ. Hoe ver nog?
Still a long way to go.
Het zal wel nog weg.
Fuck deze man.
But it moved.
Chop chop, new man forward. Kan je niet zien.
Okay. After Peter power, we will now test Eve power.
Mag dat je binnen niet kwijt nog wat staat? Dat is zoiets begint te lopen. Stel dat we dat niet weg. Ja. Ja, het eerste moment gaat daar afgekomen.
Okay, I put the chair up for reference,
Oh ja.
but it's obvious that it's moving. Today we have a lot of work cut out for us because we had a bit of a setback, and I'll demonstrate you in a minute what the problem is. So we were busy installing the gearbox, one of the cover plates for the rear engine deck, the divider between the engine compartment and the gearbox, and everything was going smoothly until we came to this section here on the left side. As you can see, there's a small tiny bracket down there. Let me focus on it. That one. And I was already wondering what that was used for. So further study of the documentation showed that this was actually used for this thing here, which is the speedometer wheel. This cable goes in here to the instrument panel to read the speed that the tank is driving at. This wheel is connected to the rear assembly over there, and as you can maybe just see, don't know if there's enough light, there's also something missing there, which is basically this thing here. So this should be here, which makes a nice groove for a V-belt to run through, which then connects to this guy. So that's the first problem. Now, in order to get that on there, we need to remove this plate here, remove the gearbox, disconnect that, put this one on. But then there's another problem. And for that, I need to go down a bit. When attaching the wheel here, I found that it touches this hydraulic tube. So that's another problem. So we need to see if we can bend this one a bit so that it's out of the way without detaching the coupling, which is on the other side here. And if that's not the case, then we have an even bigger problem, because then that one needs to come out. And in order for that one to come out, we need to remove these two covers, and we also need to break the chain because the entire sprocket, the entire drive sprocket needs to come out. So yes, not such good news. But okay, at least we know what to do. So let's get busy.
What we are going to do, we were a little bit of luck. We found a very easy way to remove all the bolts. Thanks to this handy tool, we were able to just swivel this around, and so we don't have to get underneath it to get all the bolts loose. So we installed this piece that we forgot. We installed this one for taking measurements for the V-belt. We just left one bolt in there, so everything keeps in place. This we mounted it temporarily so we can take some measurements. Then we're gonna clean it. We're gonna search for the correct V-shape belt. Then hopefully that's the last thing we need to do here.
Yep.
Yay.
So all in all, we got lucky.
It's still early.
Yeah, it's still early. Let's not jinx it.
Yeah. Right, we have the ingenious system developed of how to place the belt on the two V-shaped wheels, and in the meantime connect all the bolts. As you can see, we put the V-belt on it, but not all the bolts are in place, and it's not completely on this wheel as well. So what we're doing right now is place one bolt, and then we use our magnificent tool to turn the wheel over. Then the belt is slowly moving on to this wheel, and then next hole is there, and we can place a new bolt and washer and nut and everything. So easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I normally lijst doen mijn bout. Yes. So that's how we do it.
This is the air tank, and we put this distribution unit on the top, put in some new seals here, and we also put in the rear plug over there. Managed to luckily find that one, and also very important, we managed to find out where it fits inside the tank, because it wasn't really very clear on the manuals and the drawings. Let me show you where it's actually located. So this hole here is where the air tank is located. But we can't fit it yet because there's also some fuel lines which need to be installed, and those need to be in there first to be connected, and then we can put in the air tank. Meanwhile, we also worked on the clutch here, this piece, put in a new seal here and reinstalled that one. So this air filter was also installed on the wrong side of this T-bracket. We first had it on the other side, but then there was no way that this line, which connects to the compressor located here, would fit, so it wasn't very clear on the drawings as well, but we managed to now find the proper location. Today we are installing the fuel hoses which connect the different fuel tanks. So we have 3 fuel tanks on each side. We have the top one, the bottom one, and then the one you can't see sits over there, which is a rectangular one behind the radiator. And 2 of the cables have already been connected, one here, and there's another one behind there which connects this tank, the top tank, to the rear one. This one connects the top tank to the bottom one. So all that's left to do now is to connect this one all the way to the fuel filler port, if the camera wants to focus. So this one here, that needs to still be connected. And this is the connector, which Eve has ground down to make sure that we can fit the new tubing properly over it so that it's a tight fit. All that's left now is to find the necessary bolts to connect these brackets. The final 2 couplers are also in place, the ones that connect the first tank to the filler pot on the left hand side, and the one on the right hand side. So the fuel system is now hooked up to the tanks. The only part that is missing is the 3-way valve, which is normally positioned here, that we're missing, and that line and the one on this side connect to it. And we still of course need to put back the 2 radiators on the left and on the right, but that's normally easy work. Another part done. Meanwhile, Eve is working on reassembling the turret basket. One of the challenges we're facing here is the support beams which connect the turret basket floor to the turret. And as you can see here, some idiot had the clever idea to grind them through when they were trying to dismantle it. So now we need to come up with a clever system to reattach it. So you've put a metal bracket here to keep the 2 parts in position, and then in here there's another rod because this one is hollow, and that way we hope we can get a solid weld to reattach it.
Still have to do the rod.
Okay, still has to do the rod. But you get the idea. The rear engine deck, which covers the gearbox, has been put back on. Could be that we need to remove it again at some point to have easier access to stuff. But at least now we know that it fits. So we just need to find all of the different bolts to secure it. Make sure that we don't miss anyone. And also the generator has been reinstalled. That was not an easy job because that thing weighs a ton, but we managed to squeeze it in. And of course the two rearmost radiators on both sides have also been put back, so that makes it a bit more roomy, and they've been secured with these brackets at the bottom. So the gearbox compartment is mostly done, just some hydraulic lines that need to be connected up, and then the clutch drive mechanism needs to be mounted as well, and then some electrical wiring, but that's peanuts. So that compartment is I would say 80–90% done. This is what it looks like with the covers closed, and the mechanism to secure it is basically this bolt that turns a latch, which tightens and grips under that plate, as you can see here.